UFC 324 just wrapped up last night, and I'm going to be going over the entire main card, giving my breakdown and opinion. But let's just first go on to the prelims because I do want to talk about Umar versus Figgy, guys. This fight, I mean, it's a relevant fight at bantamweight, so I do want to just go over it real quick. It wasn't that fun of a fight. Umar just point fought to a decision. Pretty boring. But overall, I just feel like Figgy's really not the same as he used to be, man. Especially down at flyweight, Figgy used to be a monster. He used to bomb these guys with big shots. But I feel like he hasn't been the same ever since he's gone up to bantamweight, especially since he took that pretty bad loss to Yan. He's just been super gun shy. Even against guys like Montel Jackson, he barely threw that much. And it was the same deal against Umar. I'm pretty sure in that first round. I mean, both guys were low volume, but despite how low volume Umar was, he still outworked Figgy. I mean, he had like 9 significant shots in that first round to Figgy's 1 significant strike, which was just not a great look. But Umar, he kept solid with those kicks. He was able to land good shots in the boxing against Figgy at a certain like kickboxing range, which was kind of far for Figgy, but it was good for Umar. Umar's a pretty tall, lengthy bantamweight versus Figgy, who's just small for that weight class again. Umar looked a lot bigger in there than Figgy. He was able to manhandle him a little bit when it got to the ground. And on the feet, he was just able to consistently land kicks and land good shots on the chin of Figgy. And whenever Figgy would try to close that distance, Umar would just clip him coming in. And again, it was low volume, so there's not really much to say about this fight. But Umar was able to secure the 30-27 pretty comfortable victory. Again, Figgy he's not throwing at all, dude. And it's a far cry from like back when he was, bombing Joseph Benavidez and subbing him. Back when he was having those wars with Brandon Moreno. He just seems so scared to throw now against these guys. I don't know if he's like scared to get hurt or something. He is a little bit injury prone. Obviously, he had the injury against Corey Sandhagen. But overall, man, I just don't think that this win for Umar really put the stamp on him getting the next title shot. I think that if Merab doesn't come back next, Umar is not gonna, get the next title shot. I think he gets jumped by O'Malley, and I think, O'Malley had a pretty good call out after his fight. He has that kind of claim to fame against Yan for kind of beating him in a close decision. I'm sure Jan's going to want that fight back. But yeah, man, I think that if Merab doesn't come back in time, I do think that Sean O'Malley is going to get the next title shot. I think that Umar's probably going to need one more because this victory just wasn't all that, man. It wasn't impressive at all. But, a comfortable victory for Umar like we all expected. Let's move on to the main card. Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. Allen versus Silva. This fight was interesting, dude. This fight was really interesting. Allen looked good coming out. In that first round, he won. He was able to sting Silva with good jabs, good straight shots down the middle. He was able to pop Silva's head back a couple times and back him up. And he did look quick, man. It looked like the ring rust wasn't really getting to him at all. But the problem is he kind of just lost composure later in the fight. I mean, round 2, Silva kind of, like, against these higher level guys, Silva tends to build into that fight. Like, he kind of lets the first round go a little bit, like he did against Diego Lopez. He kind of, let that first round go. I know he got mauled in that first round against Lopez, but he kind of came back in that second round and built, right? So in this fight, it was kind of the same deal. He started building in that second round, landed good shots on Allen's chin. It was a back and forth war. I will say that, at the end of round 1, Silva did kind of stumble Allen a little bit. I don't know if it was a shot or if he kind of just tripped him, but Allen kind of stumbled against the cage when Silva tried to go aggressive and, hit him with a jump knee and hit him with some shit. Allen kind of just stumbled backwards. But round 1 does go to Allen. Round 2, Silva started landing better shots. Allen was landing back. Both guys were landing, but whenever Allen would land, it just seemed like the impact would kind of maybe pause Silva for a second, but it wouldn't be anything crazy, versus when Silva threw and landed on Allen, he would kind of react a lot more. He would kind of stumble a little bit. Even when Silva landed a big shot on the guard of Allen, if he would land a big kick or something and Allen would block it, Allen would pause for a second, and the optics overall just looked like Gene Silva was the much more hard-hitting fighter, much more impactful with his strikes. Same into round 3. And at the end of round 3, Allen was kind of on his knees in that north-south position against Silva. And Silva did this really autistic thing where he fucking stood on Allen's back. Literally the most autistic thing I've ever seen in a UFC fight. And he just jumps off Allen's back, bro. And there's that visual of him just soaring through the air as he jumps off Allen's back. I'm sure y'all have seen that picture on Instagram. Crazy stuff from Silva, bro. But he's an entertaining fighter, bro. That was an entertaining scrap. And Silva walks away with that 29-28 victory, like I predicted. But yeah, man, good fight. I think Silva, honestly, I would be pissed if Volkanovski beat Lopez and they gave him Silva next. That would be because I genuinely am scared that Silva would knock the fuck out of Volk if Volk is somehow able to get past Lopez. But dude, I hope that if Volk is able to beat Lopez and doesn't retire, they don't give him Silva next. I hope that Silva isn't able to jump Mavzar or jump Leron Murphy. I hope that they give him one of those people because Silva is dangerous, man. And I'm scared that, Allen's got a great chin. Allen's never been knocked down in the UFC, right? He was able to eat a lot of Silva's shots and not get hurt too badly. I think that Volk, if he were to get clipped with something big, would get probably dropped, probably hurt pretty bad. And I'm kind of scared in that fight if Silva were to get matched up against Volk. But yeah, man. Silva with a good victory. He's able to get back in the win column. I think that he should get a top contender next before he gets a title shot. But let's move on to Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas, guys. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, bro. Like, I didn't watch the first round and a half of this fight. I was going to the bathroom. But Silva, it was kind of... I honestly think that Rose probably should have won. Like, just based on the parts that I saw, I do think that Rose was winning that first round narrowly. I did watch the second round for most of it. I think that Rose did win that second round, and then Silva came back with that activity in the third. She was able to dial it up with those kicks, landed a ton of body kicks and leg kicks on Rose, landed a few good jabs as well. Whenever Rose would try to close the distance, she would get clipped with something, and Silva would kind of circle away. Kind of weird that she only turned it up in the third. If she did that in the second round or the first round, she probably would have won pretty cleanly. But I do think that Rose honestly won that fight 2-1. I think that Silva just didn't do enough in that first round, man. But overall, yeah, dude. Rose still looks pretty good, even at her, despite the mileage that she has on her career. But Silva walks away. She's probably with the W. She's probably going to get the next title shot. Yeah, I don't know if she beats Shevchenko. In the stand-up, I do think it'll be pretty close. But I feel like, Natalia Silva was getting taken down by Rose. I feel like Shevchenko might be able to take her down as well. I feel like I'd lean Shevchenko in that fight. But let's move on to Waldo Cortez Acosta, guys, versus Derek Lewis. Fuck, bro, I picked Derek Lewis. Why did I pick Derek Lewis, bro? Unfortunate. I don't know. I shouldn't have picked Derek Lewis. Dude, he has this fluky ability, dude. I bet he chins the next guy he fights, which is so annoying, dude. But Waldo, and the thing is, like, dude, Waldo didn't look good in this fight, which is, like, why I thought Lewis was going to chin him. But, like, dude, when it got past round one, I kind of knew Derek Lewis was cooked. He was looking gassed already, bro. But both these guys were just waddling around at range, fat as fuck, kind of jiggling around because they're both blobs, you know what I'm saying? And Waldo was just a more active guy, kind of landed a little bit better. Lewis would always try to, close the gap, land a big hook or something. He would always miss because Waldo would be able to just pull back and get out of the way pretty easily. Lewis tried some jumping switch kicks at the start of the round when the fight first started, which, didn't even come close to doing anything, unfortunately. And Derek Lewis, he was gassed. By the time round 2 came around, bro, he was sweating. He was moving slow. He was looking like Drewski, bro. And, dude, he didn't even get dropped. That's the thing. He just sat down and gave up, which just, this is a parlay ruiner, bro. But, yeah, Waldo Cortez literally taps him on the end of the chin with a jab, and Lewis kind of slips at the same time. He falls on his ass, and he kind of just sits there and lets himself get TKO'd. So, yeah, man, not a great performance by Lewis, bro. When he can't get that early round KO, it just never ends up well. So, yeah, dude, I thought that maybe Lewis could hang in there and then maybe get like a round 3 clutch KO like he did against Volkov, but didn't happen, man. Didn't happen. But, it's all good. It's all good. Waldo Cortez Acosta, I guess, is gonna, get closer and closer to that title, bro. He might fight like Volkov next. Dude, I'm not looking forward to Waldo Cortez Acosta in some top high-level heavyweight fights because this guy's not that good, dude. This guy's not that good. I swear he loses his next fight. If he gets put against like Pavlovich, I guess he already fought Pavlovich, but if he gets put against like Volkov or like Almeida, dude, he's not winning those fights. But anyway, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Great fight. I enjoyed it. I know some people thought it was kind of boring, but I guess for a Sean O'Malley fight, it wasn't the most fun because Sean O'Malley is always able to, sting his opponents up and kind of just like put on highlight reel KOs, right? When it's not Merab, he usually looks pretty flashy and good. So I guess this wasn't up to those standards. Like this was no like Chris Moutinho fight, right? But it was very entertaining to me. I think that it was very high level. Song Yadong, very quick, very explosive. We already knew that. But he came out, he kind of was, like Sean O'Malley was going for that glove touch, and off the touch, Song immediately lands a hard, fast leg kick. to start the round off, and he lands those throughout that first round. I think that O'Malley was able to bag that first round because people were saying that this was a robbery. Like in those Instagram comments, in a lot of comments that I saw on social media, I saw that people were saying that Song Yadong got robbed, which I don't agree with. I think that O'Malley clearly won rounds 1 and 3. In round 2, Song Yadong was able to secure good control. After getting those takedowns, he was able to land decent shots, decent kicks on O'Malley, and I think he pretty clearly bagged round 2. But round 1, man, O'Malley was able to sneak in good straight jabs and good straight crosses on the chin of Song Yadong. Didn't do anything crazy, but he was landing cleanly and popping Song's head back a couple times. Song Yadong did secure a takedown in the last minute, last 30 seconds of the round 1, but didn't really do much with it. I don't think that that's enough to warrant a Song Yadong round. Overall, O'Malley was able to do well in round 1. And especially, I didn't even notice it, but I thought that O'Malley was maybe leading by a couple good strikes. But honestly, when they were showing those highlights, it was all O'Malley. And O'Malley was landing at least 3 or 4 good straight jabs, hard on Song's chin, and popping his head back. 3, 4, or 5 of those. I do think that O'Malley was able to bagged that round 1 pretty cleanly. And round 3, we know what happened. He was able to kind of, get going. If this was a 5-rounder, I think O'Malley probably would have picked apart Song pretty badly. But you can kind of see that going into round 3. Song wasn't really able to implement any more of his grappling. He kind of, stopped with the kicking game as well. He was kind of just trying to box with O'Malley at that point. And O'Malley was able to just piece him up, busted him open. Song was kind of bleeding in the nose, bleeding in the mouth a little bit. O'Malley landed a good step-in knee, and overall just landed great shots. And he was kind of flowing at the end, dribbling around, landing great shots with those look-away, fade-away shots on Song Yadong. And he looked great to end the fight. So overall, 29-28 decision by O'Malley. Song Yadong, man, this guy can always keep it competitive with these high-level guys, but it's just never enough to, win. We saw a similar thing with Piotr Yan against Henry Cejudo. I guess he, did all right. But overall, Song Yadong is just always going to be this, top 5 gatekeeper. And, yeah, again, this kind of went as we expected. Sean O'Malley really picked up the pace in that last round, especially in those last 30 seconds. He was landing kind of at will on Song Yadong and really pieced him up. Not a 10-8, but very dominant 10-9 by O'Malley in that last round. And yeah, man, O'Malley is back in the win column. And again, I think that even though this fight wasn't anything crazy, right? It was better than Umar's fight. He did more damage than Umar. I think that this is definitely going to warrant him getting the next title shot if Merab doesn't come back in time. But yeah, man, let's move on to Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, the main event. Now, I had some words to say about this yesterday, man, and some people didn't like what I said, but honestly, I think that this fight just was a slop fest. Again, there are people online, there are people like Bedtime MMA, like MMA Guru, saying that this fight was this is the best fight of all time, or this is one of the greatest fights we've seen. Dude, I genuinely don't see that, dude. I understand it was a great fight. It was back and forth. Both guys landed super cleanly. Both guys were landing bombs on each other. There was knockdowns, there was big damage. It was just a standing boxing match, basically. And, it is fun. It's really, really fun. But, dude, this is supposed to be for the interim title. Again, let me stress that this is supposed to be for the #1 contendership at lightweight. And when there's guys like Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira, which I'm sure you're going to see more high-level striking, when you've seen Max Holloway piece up Dustin Poirier, when you've seen Dustin Poirier go to war on the feet against Islam Makhachev, and when you see, I know even Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria down at featherweight, you see high level striking and high level boxing. You see head movement. You see guys going down off the center line using their footwork. Coming into the pocket, engaging in 2, 3, 4, 5 punch combinations, really making their opponents think. Feinting, backing them up, and then just using good distance manipulation to land on their opponents and making them think, investing to the body, going to the legs, and then, going up high. It's just it's not the same level, bro. And I get that Paddy Pimblett is not super low level, or is not super high level in the striking. He's never been that high level in the striking. And I guess part of the reason why Gaethje didn't look as sharp as he usually does is because he was fighting kind of Paddy's fight, and he was kind of fighting Paddy kind of dragged Gaethje down to his level a little bit, if you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Paddy was kind of able to, cause Gaethje to kind of just scrap with him, as well as the fact that he's just the bigger guy who's able to fight behind his jab really well. But yeah, man, it was a great fight. I'm not saying that it wasn't a good fight. It was a great fight. And when it was in the center of the octagon, Paddy was able to kind of keep his distance, jab Gaethje's face off a little bit. He landed a ton of great jabs in those middle rounds, especially round three. Landed good calf kicks as well. Gaethje used to be a big calf kicker, man. Gaethje really used to be a big calf kicker, and these days we aren't seeing it too much anymore. Especially in this fight, we barely saw any kicks coming from Gaethje. But Gaethje, whenever he would back Paddy up, he would just pressure on Paddy. He did it at the beginning of the fight, and he was able to do that more near the end of the fight as well in rounds 4 and 5. But whenever he would pressure Paddy up against the cage, Paddy would just look all panicked. He would try to land some shit on Gaethje, like he would land a scooping uppercut, and it would maybe it would land, but Gaethje would just eat those shots and then come in with big overhands and big hooks, and he would clip Paddy. He hurt Paddy multiple times and dropped him throughout the fight, but he never really wanted to engage in that grappling. So he would never really follow Paddy to the ground whenever he got hurt. He would never really hunt a ground and pound TKO. The only time he did that was in round 2 when he hurt Paddy really badly. He did do that off an eye poke, but it was kind of in the heat of the moment. And I still think Paddy would have gotten hurt badly if there was no eye poke. So, I guess it can kind of be excused. Say what you want about that. But Gaethje was landing good, hard ground and pound and fucked Paddy up in that round a little bit. Credit to Paddy, man. The guy's got a great chin. He didn't get knocked out. Scousers don't get knocked out, but Scousers do get dropped multiple times and almost finished. But you know what I'm saying? So Paddy Pimblett stayed tough in there throughout the 5 rounds, despite getting hit with some bombs, dude. He needs to take at least 6 months off, dude. It's not gonna be great for his health, but I think he needs to take a long time off before he comes back. I think that he can fight maybe Fiziev next, or he can fight maybe the winner of Fiziev Rufy or the winner of Dan Hooker and BSD. I think he could do that. Obviously, his beef with BSD. But yeah, man, back to the fight. Gaethje, I think went in there with a decent game plan, if I'm being honest. Gaethje just pressure on Paddy. Paddy didn't really attempt any takedowns at all. I think I need to kind of stop relying on Pat. When I'm analyzing these fights, I think that Paddy, he's going to try to bring the fight to the ground, but he's an opportunist. Usually a lot of the times it's guys shooting on him, and then he latches up a submission or something like that. Against Michael Chandler, I guess Chandler was just dumb as fuck, and Paddy was able to just circle around to the back really easily. Chandler would really give him these opportunities when he was overthrowing and, giving up his back. We didn't really see much of that against Gaethje. Gaethje was able to pressure him. Paddy wasn't really able to go for a takedown or really go for anything on the ground. Whenever they would go into scrambles, Gaethje would be able to, end up on top, land good shots. There were a few times when Gaethje would actually pressure Paddy, and then he would kind of grab that front headlock and, drag Paddy to the ground a little bit. I think that, it was really weird. I was surprised. I think he mainly did that to gas out Paddy a little bit, because Paddy was very, very gassed in those last rounds, which, we all expected. The guy gassed out against Tony Ferguson at age 40. Not a great look. So Paddy's gas take has never been super great. And yeah, Gaethje would drag Paddy down with that front headlock and kind of make Paddy carry his weight as he tries to work his way back up. And as that happened, Gaethje would also be landing good shots to the side of Paddy's ear. And he'd be damaging up Paddy with those uppercuts as well, close in range, up against that fence. So yeah, overall, Gaethje landed the better shots, more clean shots, landed big bombs on Paddy. And while Paddy did land back, the difference in power was there. And Gaethje surprisingly has a great chin. In his old age, man, Gaethje is able to eat these big shots from Paddy Pimblett, whose power is no joke, man. He's got decent power, and Gaethje was able to eat most of the shots pretty well. And there were a couple times where maybe Gaethje got stumbled a little bit, but overall, clean, or not clean. Actually, this fight was anything but clean, man. But it was a fun scrap, man, and it was a clear Gaethje victory. I guess we're gonna see Gaethje versus Topuria up next, which rest in peace, Gaethje. He's fucked. But yeah, dude, I'm proud of Unk. Gaethje's been one of my favorite fighters since I started watching the sport, and I think that. Unfortunately, it's just bro, I'm sorry I keep complaining about this, but it's just that this fight just didn't seem high level, man. It just really did not look high level, and I know that Armand destroys both of these guys, man. So yeah, dude. Obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens at lightweight. We got Armand in the mix. We got the winner of Holloway Oliveira, which I think that they're probably going to get matched up against Armand next. But in the meantime, we do get Ilia Topuria, who's talking shit again, man. He's talking shit again on Twitter. Ilia Topuria is back, bro. He's back from, I assume that his, trial, the court case he's gone through, all of that's almost over. And yeah, man, I guess we're gonna be seeing Justin Gaethje die in the octagon against Ilia Topuria in the near future. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.